Howdy! In this mini lecture, we will examine succession, trophic cascade, and ecosystem engineers. The learning objectives of this video are: characterize disturbance, succession, and notions of community change, distinguish between primary and secondary succession, and describe the cause and effect of trophic cascade. It is a well-known fact that ecological communities are dynamic. Ecosystems and communities can experience disturbances, which are events that affect environmental conditions quickly and drastically. One type of disturbance is the removal of a keystone species, such as sea otters or a tertiary predator. Keystone species are species that have a disproportionate impact on their environment relative to their population size. Keystone species are discussed in greater depth in the sea otter case study video and the sea otter case study activity. Beyond the removal of keystone species, there are many other types of disturbances, such as natural disturbances like floods or fires. Additionally, it should come as no surprise that in many cases, humans are the cause of ecosystem or community disturbances, including the removal of keystone species. Communities respond to change by either resisting change and remaining stable, or being resilient, in which case the ecosystem changes in response to a disturbance, but will ultimately change back to its original state. Unfortunately, some disturbances are so significant that a disturbed community may never return back to its original state. When disturbances are severe enough to eliminate all or most of the species and community, the affected site will very likely go through a set of predictable changes, which is called succession. The two types of succession are primary succession and secondary succession. Primary succession is when the disturbance removes all vegetation and soil. All that is left is bare rock. Primary succession would be seen following the retreat of glaciers, when a lake dries up, and when volcanic lava covers a landscape. After the drastic disturbance, primary succession would begin when organisms began to colonize the ecosystem, but they are starting from scratch to build the ecosystem back up. The first species to appear in primary succession are called pioneer species. Lichens are a great example of a pioneer species. Lichens are actually a symbiotic association between fungi and algae. Lichens are well adapted to colonization and help to prime the area for later higher order vegetation. The picture on the right shows a community going through primary succession. You can see lichens colonizing bare rock in this picture. This is an example of primary succession. Secondary succession follows a disturbance that has removed much but not all of the biotic community. Secondary succession would follow after a tornado, hurricane, or flood, or other similar drastic disturbance that removes most but not all of the biotic community. Succession will ultimately lead to a climax community, which is a community that remains in place until some disturbance starts the succession cycle again. Species themselves can also change communities as well. Trophic cascade refers to the suite of effects that occur when predators and high trophic level organisms indirectly boost the population of low trophic level organisms by preying on and managing the populations of intermediate trophic level organisms. There is an excellent video on eCampus that illustrates and explains this concept very well by examining the reintroduction of wolves to the Yellowstone National Park. The video, which is based on peer-reviewed journal articles, explains how the wolves not only changed the population levels of lower-level species, but also how the presence of the wolves changed the course of the river. Watch this short video to get a better understanding of the interconnectedness of species with their environment. There are a few species that also change their environment by physically modifying their habitats. Such species are known as ecosystem engineers and include beavers, prairie dogs, and ants. Now that we've gone over biomes, succession, trophic cascade, and ecosystem engineers, let's review. Students often mix up primary and secondary succession, so here's a question to help you practice this concept. Secondary succession would take place in which of the following? A, the slopes of a newly formed volcanic island. B, wetlands following a hurricane. C, newly exposed land beneath a receding glacier. Or D, secondary succession would not occur in any of these areas. Pause the video if you need more time to think about it. The answer is B. If you're not sure why, go back and read about secondary and primary succession and/or rewatch that portion of this video. This concludes this mini lecture on succession, trophic cascade, and ecosystem engineers. Please see the campus lesson and activities list for additional details regarding the assignments required for this week. Thanks and gig 'em.